and welcome to Startup Central. Hi there and welcome to Startup Central. I'm Nayantara Rai, working from home, as all of you must be as well. This is the only show of its kind on Indian television dedicated to startups, technology, innovation, entrepreneurship, disruption. Basically, if it falls under the new economy, it's here on ET Now on weekdays at 6 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, pretty much like all the startups, founders, investors that we get on the show, Team Startup Central loves constructive feedback. We thrive on it. Don't hold back. Keep writing into us. Our email address right on top, suc@etnow.tv. I'm also on Twitter, so feel free to reach out directly. Pitch to us. Who knows, maybe one day you could even be a part of the show. Well, in the run-up to May 3rd, the day when the lockdown extension will be announced, not announced, we don't know as yet, we're not going to get into speculation. We at the Times Network have launched the India Revival Mission. The question we are raising is that if the lockdown is too prolonged, could we have more deaths, more miserable lives than what would be saved with the lockdown? As it is, the IMF has already flagged off that India could have a GDP rate as bad as in 1991. That's of course when we went bust, India went bust, and you had the dream team of Prime Minister Narasimha Rao and the Finance Minister Manmohan Singh liberalizing the economy. All eyes now on Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to do the unimaginable. And it's the same when it comes to the startup universe. Startups, who were pretty insular, they were living in a parallel universe, apni duniya mein, have also been affected very badly by COVID-19. Many of them may not find an antidote. Many of them may not have a vaccine to survive this entire crisis that we're seeing. Today, I'm going to invite a startup that you all know very, very well. You're very familiar with it. It's one of the most cherished startups that we have in the country. Urban Company, formerly known as Urban Clap, live right here on ET Now on Startup Central. The co-founder Varun joining us here. Varun, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you, your family, and the entire team at Urban Company are safe and are healthy. And having said that, do you want to first tell us what life has been like for Urban Company the last couple of weeks? I'm sure business has been really bad, but how have you guys survived the last couple of weeks?
Nayantara, thank you so much for having me on the show. We are all doing okay, as best as one can in these circumstances, and I hope all of you over there at ET Now are also safe and healthy. I think we're all finding ourselves amidst extremely unprecedented times. As a company and leadership, we are overall very much in support of the lockdown and the steps that have been taken by the government to bring the virus spread in check. We all know that in absence of this lockdown, the number of cases in India could have been in the millions. So even though it has caused a lot of economic and daily pain to pretty much everybody in the country, I think it's the better alternative between the two. As a company, we were one of the early movers, and we switched to work from home very early in March, much before the lockdown as well. Of course, for a period of time in the lockdown, the business was completely shut, and internally we actually launched a very powerful mission called Mission Shakti to take care of our service partners and employees during the lockdown and to emerge out of the lockdown as a stronger company that can actually serve the customers and the nation with their service needs while following safe protocols once the lockdowns get over and we get back into business. So I would say over the last now close to 1 month, we have been just very, very focused, heads down on Mission Shakti. Some of the things we have done are we have taken a series of steps to take care of our service partners. It's called Project Vishwas, where we have extended to our entire family of service partners interest-free business advances, because they are making no money. Many of them have very low savings. So we're helping them get through this lockdown period and be able to support their families. We've also purchased for them a coronavirus insurance. We've raised a relief fund. So a whole set of measures to take care of our service partners, help them tide through this tough time. Similarly, we are helping our internal employees stay positive, taking care of their well-being through a series of measures. And we're trying to, as a company, stay lean, stay focused, and think about the post-lockdown world, prepare for the post-lockdown world.
And coming to that, you're preparing for life post-COVID, or at least post the lockdown. So Varun, give us a sense first. You have so many services that you've started to expand in the last couple of years. How many people is it that Urban Company, for example, rely on for livelihood? Just give us a sense of that. You've talked about the various projects that you've undertaken to make lives more insulated for them, make it more comfortable for them. But let's just first check that box. How many people is it that rely on Urban Company for livelihood?
Sure. So we provide a platform for home repair and maintenance services, as well as personal services delivered inside the comforts of your home. And we provide this across 18 cities in India and 3 geographies internationally. And all in all, close to 30,000 individual service professionals rely on the platform for their livelihood.
30,000 people on just one platform alone. Urban Company rely on somehow or the other for livelihood. They may not solely rely on Urban Company, but it's a large number, 30,000. Now I want to ask you this one question. You've talked about services, for example, and that is, of course, the biggest pain point that we have. If we don't see some action, we'll see mass scale unemployment, consumption is going to come down. So all those ladies, for example, that might be booking for pedicures, they will be thinking 3 times over. People may not be shopping for bookshelves, and therefore they'll be using less carpentry. They'll be needing less carpentry work. I'm just giving some very small, frivolous examples, but there's going to be a domino impact we're going to see if the economy is indeed going to crash. Where are you as far as a prolonged lockdown goes? That could end up being perhaps more lethal than the coronavirus itself.
That's a very good question, Nayantara. So I would say at an overall level, we have seen from the government an approach of Jaan bhi, Jahan bhi. After the first close to 3 weeks of the lockdown, in the guidelines from the Ministry of Home Affairs that came out on the April 15th, a few of our services were deemed essential and allowed post April 20th. This included basic repairs like an electrician, a plumber, a RO water purifier, because if your house actually has a fuse problem or a block problem, or your RO is not giving drinking water, then that could be a every day-on-day survival issue. So the ministry recognized that, and then the state governments followed into allowing a handful of these essential services. Now, in spirit of gradually and in a graded way opening the lockdown, we are hoping that post May 3rd, as some more businesses are allowed to operate, this will include more of the services on our platform. This will potentially expand to services like appliance repairs, carpenters, maybe even basic personal services like haircuts at home. And then over time, as things seem on the right track, then even more services like beauty services, home painting will be allowed in a graded fashion. So I think there is, for the foreseeable future, there is going to be no life post-COVID. There's going to be a life post-lockdown. That is going to be a life with COVID. And I think the government is doing the right thing in gradually allowing businesses to operate, and by mandating certain set of strict
But
safety
Varun, if I could come in
protocols.
there, Varun, if I could
Yeah.
come in there, your entire business model, allow me to interrupt you, your entire business model relies on providing personalized services which are easy, you book on the app, and I might add also very affordable. But having said that, it relies on the fact that these service professionals will come to our homes. And right now, when we don't know about the future of coronavirus, when we don't know if there's going to be a second wave or a third wave, some things that we're seeing in countries like Singapore, that's perhaps the biggest threat that could also come in the form of an urban company. How are you grappling with that? How comfortable are people going to be to have people enter their homes, whether it's for a haircut, whether it is to put up nails on a wall, whether it is to get a pedicure, whether it is for wall painting, all of that, because that's going to be the biggest fear. And then what is your message to customers? How are you making sure that your people are safe to enter their homes?
Absolutely, fantastic question. See, I think there are a spectrum of consumer needs, needs that are essential on the one end to needs that are discretionary on the other end. I think the economy is going to open up slowly and gradually, and we will start consuming our essential services first. So, basic repairs like an electrician or a plumber, a basic haircut, and then over time, as things get better, we are going to start consuming more and more. Now, all of this is only going to happen if businesses are going to be prudent and very, very careful about ensuring strict safety protocols. Because the future of the good future of the economy and the country, as I imagine it, is everyone will act responsibly. Consumers, businesses, everyone acts responsibly, and we are slowly able to open things up. And we don't allow the opening of the lockdown to increase the spread, and we don't allow any reason for us to trace our steps backwards. So what are we doing? We are following a series of very well-defined and strictly enforced safety protocols, which we call, the entire movement within the company is called Project Kavach. And I'll tell you about the steps. The first is we are measuring twice a day the temperatures of all our service professionals, and we are mandating the use of the Arogya Setu government app, so that we know that safe and healthy professionals coming from safe zones are working on the platform, and the others are not for the time being. Second, we are mandating the use of personal protective equipment. And we are, as a company, providing safety kits, which include masks, gloves, hand sanitizers, and sanitization sprays to all our service professionals. And through technology and audits, these are being mandated to be used on every service. Third, we are mandating the use of single-use products in every service, so there is no risk of contamination from one customer to another. And in services like home repairs, which are hopefully going to be allowed first, the service will be completely contactless. So our whole endeavor is to make sure that only healthy professionals are providing services. They are following a strict set of safety and hygiene protocols. And we are eliminating to the best extent possible any risk spread.
Because Varun, the other problem is that all of you are grappling with this, and we have to wrap up quickly due to the paucity of time. The problem also is that because everyone doesn't show the symptoms and they remain asymptomatic for so long, which we've all seen, right? It happens. We were busy checking people with thermometers, and we didn't know that they had COVID. And look what's happened. Look at the pizza delivery case in New Delhi, which went viral. I'm sure you fear about that, right? And how do you then deal with that?
My sense is we are every day learning about the disease, and there is no ideal world here. we are all gradually going to take one step after the other in a fairly cautious manner, trying to revive the economy while ensuring that there is no risk that we pose, and we don't put anybody in danger. So that's why I think till things are better understood, we are expecting the permission to provide home repair services where there is no human to human contact. Professionals are going to maintain distance despite all the other safety protocols I mentioned. And as we learn more about identification, testing, and containment, we are going to open up more and more activities. I think that is the way forward for the economy. We can't be in either extreme. We can't be in a lockdown for very long. Neither can we open things up and put the entire nation at risk. So I think the approach of gradually opening things up while following safety protocols seems like the right one.
Right. So with that, Varun, I'd like to wish you and the entire team at Urban Company all the very best. We at ET Now are talking about India Revival Mission. We can't jump the gun, but at the same time, we can't afford to be complacent, because we can't turn out to have a bigger lethal problem than coronavirus, send people to abject poverty, have massive unemployment, have consumerism come to a complete standstill. As it is, the IMF has warned, we could see a growth rate of worse than what we saw in 1991. That's, of course, when India went bust. Thanks a lot, Varun, for joining us with that.